Hi, it's Helen Tarrant. Hi and welcome to another episode of Commercial Property Roadshow. Today I'm actually going to tell you how you can have your cake and eat it too. Now everyone says I want both cash flow and growth. I always say that, well, that's like the unicorn. But sometimes we do come across the unicorn, but it can be hidden, it can be really messy. So really it's actually about finding the diamond in the rough than over the unicorn. So let me show you a case study of what that is. So typically when you're looking at a property that has both cash flow and growth, you want to start a property that is already partially tenanted. So a property that is already have some kind of income. It may not have a substantial tenant on 3, 5 or 10 year leases. It might have a tenant on 1, 2 or even month-to-month leases, but they might have been there for 5 years, 10 years, just never really got along to renew their lease. They might be paying under market rent. Now a portion of the property could be vacant, and most of the time that vacant property is an absolute mess. So what happens in that case is that upstairs could be vacant, the side of the property or the back of the property could be vacant, and there could be, lack of access way. It could be that it's run down. It could mean that, the property itself needs fully to be refurbished, like everything, all of the fittings inside, maybe 5 or 10 years old, needs to be ripped out. And then you might need to want to segment it so that you can actually create 2 different office spaces. Or if it's warehouse, you want to be able to build mezzanine floors, etc., etc. So there's loads of things that you can do. But ultimately, it's actually about finding the diamond in the rough to be able to really put in the work that you need to make the property work. So let's go over and let me show you what an uplift property actually look like in a real case study and how that would eventuate in the future to a double-digit yielding property, because that's the ultimate holy grail, is that you get a property that's yielding single digits fairly low to a property that's yielding double digits by the time you finish with it. So let me show you how an uplift property works and what essentially it is. So let's say you have a property. This property here might be tenanted. This property here might be vacant. Some of the potential things you might have are roof issues, aircon, and refurb. You might have this tenant on month to month. You may be a short lease. It might be under market rent. This place might be vacant because it's too large, it's too old, and too run down. So it may need you to reconfigure the property. It might need you to strip out, fit out, paint, carpet, lighting, new entrance. Plus all of that, then you want to do marketing. So that's essentially what it looks like. Now, what you would normally do is, if you had a property like that where you have a tenanted property, so you got tenant, vacant, you have to take it as it is. So you might find that property is yielding you 5%. That has a potential of 5%. Potential 5%, so that together it's got 10%. And what you're buying is you're buying at either a 7 or 8% yield based on current income. So if this property here is doing 35,000, then you could be buying this property somewhere between 500k to 600k, with the potential that the other 35k, when it's done, is going to make it a $70,000 property. So, and you take out some expenses, and then all of a sudden, because of that $70,000, the property is now worth 800k. which means you've made yourself $200,000 in the process. Now, let me show you a real example of how this works. been really interesting for you to see what it's really like to have a property with uplift. Now, it's not every day that you come across a property like that, and sometimes properties you think are uplift properties may not achieve that potential. The reason for that is that when you put the multiplier effect in there, or maybe the town that you're investing in is not quite right, if it doesn't have the population there, you're not going to be able to get that quality of tenant. If the building itself doesn't have the quality where you can actually fit it out, then you're not able to attract a grade A tenant. So it's all about matching the returns, as in the rent, to the type of tenant, and matching out the fit out as well, because you've got to make sure that you're actually investing in a town that's got good demographic growth, that is gentrifying, the area is changing, that you put a bit of money in, you're refurbishing it, but really you're adding more capital value to the property. There's many different ways of putting the jigsaw puzzle together. When I look at an uplift property, I always see it as there is the piece of finding a property that's giving you some kind of holding income. There's a piece of the refurbishment. There's a piece of how you actually be able to finance this property, the kind of uplift you're going to need, where you want to spend some money, but you don't want to spend a lot of money on it. So there's lots and lots of different parts of the jigsaw puzzle, and I often mentor all of my clients through this because it is a maze. But with the right education and mentorship, you can actually get there and create that uplift. So if you want to find out more, if this strategy works for you, or you think it may work for you, then connect with me on a strategy call. Go to helentarrant.com, contact us, or email me at helen@commercialpropertycashflow.com.au. In the meantime, I've got plenty more tips and tricks coming up about commercial property. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.